Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Chad Stahelski's John Wick Chapter 2 from 2017. So yes, we're back once again ready to discuss the next entry in the John Wick franchise, of course. Today there will be once again a spoiler warning though, so it's out now for this discussion here. If you haven't seen this film, I'd simply recommend seeing it and then come back to this video and I wouldn't want to kind of ruin the film for you. There will be plot points discussed, including the ending, so yes, hopefully you can see the film first and then come back to this. Just be warned, as always, there will be spoilers in this video. So yes, all that said, let's dig in and discuss this, to me, legendary film and this truly worthy sequel to the first John Wick film. So yes, before we start, I want to mention it's a real shame, such sad and shocking news that of course Lance Reddick passed away very recently, and when I heard that I was very, very sad. This actor at the age of 60 passed away, and he was truly legendary for me as an actor. I think The Wire, for example, I've seen that twice all the way through. I loved it so much a few years ago that I just kind of I think it was a year after I watched the entire show again. I don't really do that too much. I very rarely actually watch too much TV shows, but that show, and he was in every single episode. He was truly, truly amazing in that show, and from that, seeing the John Wick films, obviously Sharon, the character being in all these films so far, and I was always, for example, discussing with my brother, about it'd be great. I can't wait to see what they do next with, for example, Sharon, and seeing Lance Reddick. He's just truly, what a wonderful actor he was. I just got the sense of the warmth, such a likable actor, very, very peaceful, but of course very, very commanding, and just a very the range that he could display was quite something. And again, it really is so sad. I was very upset when I heard this, and of course, yes, just around the time of the John Wick Chapter 4 being released as well. It's very, very shocking. So a tribute to Lance Reddick and obviously his family. Thoughts with them, and a tribute to this great, wonderful individual. So yes, with that said, let's discuss this film and why I personally love this film so much, and consider it to be one of the greatest really action sequels of all time. And yes, starting out with this film, I saw this very shortly after the first film, seeing that in 2017, and yes, just shortly after I saw John Wick Chapter 2, and got this on Blu-ray, and didn't know what to expect, but was very much hyped for this film, and kind of hearing some really good things about it. The consensus is not that this is the best or anything, and it's just now as well. It's not considered overall, maybe as strong. But yes, I saw this film, and I thought, let's just see what they do with this. Really, really loved the first film, and back then, I was definitely after first viewing of the first film, I was kind of like, wow, this is it could be a great film. And after rewatching it, instantly I thought, yes, it's definitely great, and I really love this film. But yes, I think seeing the second film, I thought, instantly, wow, there's a difference here for me personally, just my taste and what I thought of the film. There's a step up in for me every department, and I think Keanu Reeves as well. He is just the character was so great in the first film, but I think it's one of those cases of perfecting the character and as well perfecting the universe for me. Stahelski, the way he's directed this film, truly something to behold. And I think straight away though, the first act, which is the film gets better and better for me really, but the first act is just I can tell the difference for me. The action of it's choreographed, just the actual intrigue, and the investment of this narrative, in the world. And so yes, in the first act we have John Wick once again trying to live, in a peaceful way, and trying to live out this peaceful life as we know. And of course, Santino, played by Riccardo Scamarcio, comes into the film and gives John Wick essentially this gold marker, and that. When I first saw this, I was like, wow, this is very intriguing. What's going on here? And of course, yes, essentially, he has to he has this commitment to kind of you know, this assassination that he has to do, of course. And he eventually travels to Rome, but you know, we have the first act, you know, and the kind of attack on his house, which, you know, I was really shocked at first time I saw this. You know, I thought, wow, this is really something. What's going on here? This is really kind of changing everything. And in the first kind of few sequences, really, this is all kind of going off, and it's kind of straight away, you know, kind of I guess playing on the first film, what happened in that film, but you know, in a more kind of large scale way, and that can be said for the majority of this film. Actually, the stakes are higher. I know loads of people say this about sequels, but they really are for me, and you know, I just cared even more about this universe. But of course, yes, we have Santino giving the gold marker, and soon after that whole attack on John Wick, you know, kind of comes this realization that he has this commitment, and he has to actually go to Rome to carry out this this hit, of course, on Santino's sister. So it's a very, very dark film. This and it's very interesting. And I was thinking, wow, that's really dark. But of course, John Wick then goes to Rome, and from then we just simply have one of the greatest you know, action sequels you know, of all time for me. And I just think everything in this film is a step up, as I say. The cinematography, the editing, you know, we have this wonderful flow. The first film, I have no issues with the flow, but you know, this one, it steps it up. You know, it really is this kind of wonderful, graceful way in which we kind of seamlessly go into different scenes. The momentum is here. It's subtle. It's not too much. This film, and you know, the mythology is deepened, and of course, it's not done in a way where there's, you know, loads of heavy exposition, you know, kind of left, right, and centre, but there is enough to kind of be truly immersed in this sequel, and as well, you know, which we'll get to. The ending kind of carries it through, literally into the sequel, and kind of pump for more. But yes, we have this first act being, you know, so stunning, and you know, I loved the action. I loved Peter Stormare as well. You know, his appearance, you know, in this film, always enjoyable actor, and you know, just that's what I noticed as well. You know, the comedy in this film works so well, and I think there was comedy, of course, in the first film, and you know, it kind of made the first film more enjoyable, and made it more believable as well, actually. And I loved you know, the villains in that film, and just the way in which we have these one-liners as well. You know, the kind of text sometimes coming up, and you know, just this really interesting way in which it's kind of playing on you know, anime and all this. And yes, of course, the martial arts element, you know, of this this franchise as well. Once again, in this film, you know, it's kind of amped up, and I just think the way in which, as I say, the comedy is balanced perfectly, really, for me, with the actual drama and the seriousness. You know, this is, as I say, a much darker film for me than the first, but it's actually as well more you know, funny, and it just works so well. And as well, yes, as I say, the action, you know, is a step up. You know, I was truly blown away by the first act, and then, you know, comes, you know, for example, the middle act of this film, which is just you know, we have a set of sequences, you know, in Rome, where, you know, this just really blew me away. After kind of the hit, we have countless, you know, waves of enemies, you know, coming in after John Wick, and this, for example, yes, it's not done in a repetitive way at all. On the contrary, you know, wow, the way in which Stahelski is kind of, you know, just constantly inventing himself, reinventing himself in the franchise, and I think the action here is just consistently, you know, masterful for me. The operatic nature of this, you know, the use of music, for example, and things going on in the background and the foreground, you know, it really is wonderfully balanced. The flow in between different locations as well, and getting enough kind of visual, you know, on John Wick, and at the same time we have, you know, this kind of underlying sense of dread in these sequences, but you know, we have fist fights, gunfights, and at the same time, constantly, you know, there's this feeling of a large scale, you know, kind of expansion, you know, of this universe, and the set pieces themselves, you know, that whole middle portion of the film, we have these epic, hard-hitting fist fights, and you know, these big scale, you know, kind of gunfights. You know, it really is, it's like a you know, a war film at times, the way it's approached, and you know, it just truly is mind-blowing action. And as I say, The use of music, is just perfect. Even funny at times. The actual use of music and things going on in the background at the same time as John Wick, kind of taking out these enemies, and this is just insane. The action in this middle portion, and a thing I always pick up on. I've seen this 4 times now. I think it's such a rewatchable film, as is the first. But I always pick up on the fact that we have these big action set pieces, of course. Just truly thrilling, mind-blowing pieces. But the fist fights and the one-to-one, almost boss fights in this film, truly are the most memorable to me in the franchise. And these, for example, Ruby Rose, they're so great in this film. Of course, these almost silent character, really just a great character. Of course, one that is kind of just, it could in another film simply be this throwaway kind of adversary for John Wick to take on, and then it's kind of forgotten afterwards. But Ruby Rose and Common as well, the 2 standouts in that sense in this film. And of course, just these truly unforgettable kind of I guess enemies for John Wick to kind of take out, and it's just at the same time as all these massive things going on in the background, and we have, of course, that balance being so perfect in this film, and just the truly memorable, as I say, one-to-one fights, and these massive operatic set pieces. It just truly is something to behold. This is how an action sequel for me should be, and at the same time, which caught me off guard the first time I saw this, we have the stunning kind of deepening of the mythology of this universe, of course. The Continental and the way that's used in this film. I think the way in which they deepen the characters of, for example, Winston and Sharon, in this film. This is what really separates it once again, and at the same time we have Laurence Fishburne in this film as the Bowery King, and that, once again, that's just another step up for just my investment in this universe. I thought, first time I was like, when that scene came on, we have all this stuff that's happened, and then Laurence Fishburne comes into it, and you have all this dialogue here. I was like, wow, this is now a franchise that I am just truly, obsessed with, really, and I'm just behind 100%, and I can't wait to see, all these sequels that come, and it's one of those cases where it just clicked, and I thought, wow, I'm going to be in for a treat, and so far I've loved this film, and the rest of the film was just stunning, and all the way up until the ending. But Laurence Fishburne's character of the Bowery King, the exposition here, is done in such a way that I am just truly invested in this film, and also at the same time, we get quite a lot, but not too much, and saved for sequels, but not in the way that it has to be, kind of thing. And it's an obligation to kind of leave stuff out for the sequels. It's done in an organic way, and just enough for the audience, at least in my opinion, to get enough from this, but also be wanting more, and for that to kind of carry on to the sequels, and the drivers there to kind of see more films with this this character, and these supporting characters as well, and this whole mythology, the way it's done in this film, it truly is something else. Just perfect here in that sense. The mythology here and the way it's kind of handled, and just the character of John Wick, the Continental, and the entire universe of this, and every minor character in this film is just elevated in such a way, and as we say as well, we have the Continental, the way it's portrayed is masterful once again, and just Lance Reddick in this film is so great, and once again the warmth of this character, and as well Winston, a character who's very complex indeed, and Ian McShane, and just I love the kind of the chemistry of these 2 characters I mentioned here, but Ian McShane as well, a very complex character, one that's that underlying kind of sense of a darkness to him, and at the same time, he's so charming, and of course, just the interactions once again, the whole the way in which Sharon, Lance Reddick portrays this character, and the way he kind of interacts with John Wick, it just makes the film. It really does, and that can be said for 3 as well. It makes these films so much more special. The kind of likability of these characters, also combined with the kind of complex, dark violence of these of these films, and it's just this truly wonderful way in which these characters interact throughout the film. It could be seen as, you know, very very minor occurrences, you know, very just a couple of minutes here and there through these films, but they're so kind of memorable, these interactions, that it kind of stands out, you know, over the course of this film, and despite, you know, the very small time, I guess, in the grand scheme of things, dedicated to these characters, you know, it's just so memorable, and you know, just once again, John Wick, you know, having his dog, the role that plays, you know, in the film, you know, I just love, and yeah, you know, the way in which this film kind of goes into the acts, you know, kind of flows, as I say, the editing is stunning, and I just love the sense of momentum. You know, it really is. It's a film that I'm just constantly, every time I see it, wanting to get to the next scene, and savouring the scenes that I'm watching, and you know, just every single interaction as well. Even for example, Santino's sister, when John Wick you know, dispatches of her, that is even done in such a way, you know, human way, and it gets you thinking, I guess, the morality of this, but you know, doesn't kind of you know, overbear the kind of just simple fun factor of this as an action film, you know, as you know, a kind of insane film at times, you know, just a wacky film, but it's one of the things, you know, about this film. I think the tone is just masterful, and you know, it really, that's so important in this film. One of the reasons why I love it so much is the tone, and you know, the balance. You know, I guess that can be, you know, that's what tone really is, the balance of emotions, you know, the atmosphere that's portrayed in, you know, an XY scene, and how it kind of fits in this, you know, kind of greater part, and you know, I think the way in which we have comedic scenes, but really dark, gritty scenes as well, and it kind of all at once on occasion, and you know, I just think it doesn't ever break character. You know, it never has a moment where you know, in some films, you know, when comedy kind of takes you out of the film, and the investment of, you know, this as something that really, as you're watching it, feels like it's happening, and you know, I just love that about the film. The visuals also play a hand in that, you know, in the way the lighting is done in this film. A lot of nighttime scenes, obviously, in this, and you know, the way in which this never breaks tone, that is essential to my investment of the film. And then the final act, this is when things really start to kind of open up and surprise me as a viewer the first time I saw it. We have all these twists and turns, of course, and John Wick is, you know, kind of compromised, of course, and you know, the final moments, you know, he is on the run, and literally running into the sequel, really, and you know, that is just an ending that every time I see it, you know, it gets me pumped. It's tense, it's kind of yeah, you feel on edge, but it gets you pumped, you know, and I just smile every time, leading into what I've now, you know, seen the third film twice, but you know, for a long, long time I'd never seen the third until last year, so you know, kind of every time I saw that ending, you know, the second one, it was just this sense of wonder, I guess, you know, what will happen next, where will John Wick go, and what will happen to all these side characters, Winston, Sharon, you know, all these different characters, the Bowery King now as well, what will happen, and what will do, and what they do with the sequel, and now I've seen that, you know, it's, you know, of course, something that's truly satisfying as well, which we'll get to, but yes, you know, that ending truly is adrenaline filled, and epic in every fashion. And of course, the legendary moment for me when, you know, John's excommunicado is activated. You know, of course, Winston is involved there, and wow, that moment. The first time I saw this, I was just kind of, you know, kind of hearing this and seeing what's going on. You know, I was kind of in shock, and this was so kind of, I was so on edge. And after everything that's happened in this film up to this point, you know, we have so much exposition, deepening of mythology, all these characters that John Wick has kind of dispatched and come across and met, you know, charming characters, you know, the Bowery King, of course, characters returning in this film, Sharon and Winston, for example, and just all the things that have happened, you know, in this constant, you know, thrill ride, and then we have that final kind of moment when excommunicado is activated. You know, it was a moment that really, you know, I was just like, wow, you know, this is what a film this is, and you know, kind of saving that kind of reveal there, you know, kind of changing everything really for the final moments is genius, and I think the way in which it leads into the final scene when John Wick is just running, of course, with his dog, you know, different there's different people, you know, in the background, you know, kind of onto him, and you know, it's just the sense of wonder though. What will happen to John Wick? You know, this kind of threat that we never have resolved in this film, and it kind of leads directly into the third film, and you know, at this point, of course, when I'd seen it, you know, the third film hadn't been released, so it was kind of the sense of wonder, and you know, I guess. You know, this kind of on edge feeling, you know, kind of for our protagonist, I felt, and it was a wonderful, you know, experience first time round. I think every time I've seen it, you know, this film gets better and better, and for me, this is a masterpiece. I think even, you know, scenes when John Wick is just mounting up, you know, he's gearing up with his weapons, you know, and his clothing, and just what can be said for the entire franchise is the style, you know, of these films. It really is something to behold, and you know, the action, the style of that, you know, the text even that comes up, but the clothing and just the way in which John Wick is portrayed in this film. Keanu Reeves, once again, you know, in this film, wow, you know, and I think this is probably the standout, you know, kind of portrayal of John Wick for me. Across the three that I've seen, I haven't seen the fourth one yet, obviously, but. Yeah, you know, I think everything that was done in the first film is done here even better, and John Wick himself, you know, truly the way that Keanu Reeves portrays this character, it really is stunning, you know, masterful, this action hero, very complex character, but just, wow, so enjoyable and so kind of charming, and the style to this character, and as I say, simple scenes, moments that are dedicated to him just simply gearing up, it's moments like this. In franchises like Bond as well, where you know it kind of separates the many reasons why it separates, you know, the great from the maybe the good, or you know, kind of thing. It is kind of focusing on details like this that other films perhaps would not, and you know, it's just, you know, Stahelski focuses on these moments so wonderfully, and I think. You know, to say that he has fun, you know, when kind of making this film, it truly is evident. You know, I think it's an understatement as well. You know, all the characters, the cast members, you can see they're having a great time, and just reveling in these details, these small moments, and you know, it's just wow. You know, every single moment in this film really is masterful, and I think perhaps the first act isn't quite, you know, as good as the rest of the film, but once it gets going, which is very, very quick into the film, this is really, I have no issues with the film at all. It's pretty flawless for me at times, and you know, I think the style, the action, of course, the narrative of this, you know, really is a step up from the first one. You know, of course, the first one I was highly invested in, obviously, the narrative, the characters, the setup, but you know, really, this is kind of like another setup of the next phase, and the true phase of portion of the John Wick franchise, the whole mythology. You know, it was kind of hinted at in the first, but this one really introduces it as we know it, and I think it really is stunning. And of course, the action, as I say, throughout, it kind of tops itself really consistently, and just all the way through, as I say, to that final, you know, kind of a scene there when John Wick is running. The music, the use of music in this film is stunning. Epic, and you know, just operatic, of course, the action, but the final you know, scene, the way it's scored, wow, you know, really it gives me goosebumps every time, and then that final moment there, and the final shot, what can I say, truly legendary film, you know, just memorable characters, you know, just even just enemies, would be in other films, simple enemies, in this film, for example, Ruby Rose, their character, Common, you know, his character there, just, as I say, they elevate these characters, and you know, it's to a fine art really in this film, and it's just everything I wanted from a sequel, seeing for the first time of John Wick, and more. I didn't really ask for, you know, for this, but I got it, and for me, this is a masterpiece. You know, wonderfully shot, choreographed action. The editing in this film is wonderful. Every single story beat really is just flawless, and the tone, the balance of comedy, drama, and you know, deepening of the mythology, it's just masterful. It really, really is. And for me, my final rating for John Wick Chapter 2 is a 99%. This is a masterpiece for me, and wow, every single character that's in the first film even better in this one, even more kind of character development and memorable interactions and all the new characters or ones that are just in this film. It's just truly unforgettable experience. This is, for me, one of the greatest modern action films and one of the greatest action sequels I've ever seen. And this is not perhaps everyone's favourite, but to me, this is a masterpiece, and I just personally think it's a step up in every single way, and then some of the first film, and it really towers above most action films I've seen, in recent years. Really, it's one of those films as well that just it changes everything for this franchise. This is the turning point for me, and just how this leads into the third film that I've seen it. Wow, it really is something else. As I say, Stahelski, directs this film wonderfully. The writing to this, the script, is just something to behold. I think this is just one of those films that gives me hope in modern action cinema, and it's just the martial arts, way this is kind of playing on that, this genre, truly stunning, and also the way, as I say, the balance of hand-to-hand, individual, small-scale fight scenes, fist fights that are made large-scale, very organically, and also contrasting that with these all-out gunfights. It just truly is something else. The way this film is shot, the lighting to this, just something else. It really, really is. This is one of those films, action films, where the tone is just so perfect, and I think, as I say, the style to this is just wow. I really get immersed in this franchise so much because of this film, and it kind of changed everything for me. It changed the game, and of course, in itself, it's just such a rewatchable, pretty much almost flawless film for me, and just. Keanu Reeves is legendary in this film. Lance Reddick, the wonderful actor that he was, truly stunning in this film. Of course, McShane, you could say his counterpart. Just Winston, so great in this film. I just love all these characters, and then of course, as I say, Laurence Fishburne's character of the Bowery King being introduced in this film. It really is. It changes everything. It's just. Wow, what a film this is. We could go on for more, but I'll leave it there. We'll start wrapping up now. This is just one of my favourite action films of recent years, and as I say, as a sequel, this is truly worthy, and this is the sequel that I wanted personally, and it does everything right, and as I say, these films are so rewatchable, but especially this film. Every time I see it, more pumped than the previous watch, and just ready for the next entry, and seeing this a few months ago, once again, it was just what an experience. This is a masterpiece for me. So yes, that's my thoughts. I love this film so much. The action, the comedy, and just the fun nature of this film. This is just a film that you can I can get so much fun from, and so much joy from every single element, really, every interaction in this film. Just enjoying cinema. It really is. It gives me hope for, as I say, action films, of modern times, and one of my favourites in that regard, and a real standout, a real treat, really here, and within the franchise, this is something else, and yes, that's my thoughts. What do you think of this film? It'd be great to hear. Really nice to hear your opinion on this film, your experiences with these. This series, of course, this franchise, and what do you think of this one? Be great to hear. As always, leave your thoughts in the comments, and we can kind of talk about and celebrate this franchise, and I look forward to discussing the third film, and as well, I won't be seeing the fourth one at the cinema. I don't really go to the cinema these days. It's very hard for me, and there's not really much of a desire personally for me to travel, for example, 15-20 miles to the nearest cinema, dull screening when everyone's talking. The John Wick films, have been for me all watched at home, and it'll be 4K that I get this on. Well, my brother does when that's released in a few months, I guess. So it will be a few months until I see this film, the fourth one. But I cannot wait. Hearing great things, and obviously This is epic in length as well compared to the previous one. So really interesting to see how that plays into it, how they kind of develop this universe. I can only sit in anticipation, thinking about how good this film will be. But yes, the third entry I'll be reviewing that as well. That at some point, over in between now, obviously, and seeing the fourth film, and eventually I'll be doing a ranking. But yeah, for now, John Wick Chapter 2. I truly love this film, and look forward to discussing future John Wick films on the channel, and hearing your thoughts as always. And yes, absolutely love this film. One of my favourite action films, of the century, really, and it just it's such a pleasing experience, in general, as a film. It's so enjoyable, so charming, and so kind of, the use of violence, the grittiness, the dark nature of this, but it's not too far in any regard, really, for me, in the comedy or the action, and wonderful flow. The tone is perfect, really, for me, and this is John Wick Chapter 2, a truly satisfying and legendary sequel to the first John Wick film. So yes, as always, take care and thanks for watching.